Hey, what's up guys, Mick here. As you can see, 2 more views till the competition. I'm at the 10,000 mark, which I said might be trivial to a lot of you guys who have thousands of viewers and subs and stuff like that, but, you know, hey, it's a milestone for me. So, like I said, once I hit 10,000, contest video will go up, I'll make the rule, or I'll have the rules in the video, all that good stuff. So, you know, what I'm making this video about tonight, I don't know how long it'll go because I'm just pretty much going to ramble, but it's basically my experience working at a large, big chain tire and lube shop, and you know, the corporate craziness. I can't give you too many clues on it, but I will tell you they're closing a lot of stores. It's a large company with different types of stores, and they're closing, I think, 150 of them right now. So that's about the best I can do on clues. A couple of my subs, they might know which company. I've talked to them about it before, outside of YouTube. So, but you know, about a year and a half ago, I was really looking for a job, and I applied at this place, and I heard back from about a month later, and you know, I was desperate, so I went there. It wasn't my first choice, but I went there. I was going to be a sales guy, basically selling tires and oil changes, all this good stuff. So I went there. I did a week of sitting in a computer doing these online exams, which they're basically, well, I mean, the one part, you know, sexual harassment, from what I hear, that's with every company. You got to do online training with that. But then it went to, like, basically stuff about my job that I never did, for one, or that you know, just stuff that I was never going to use, or when I actually got to it, it was completely different from what they told me. All the systems were updated, that kind of thing, so it didn't help. But I sat there for a week. I made like $30 for that. It was horrible. But, you know, I went to training and all that, and which they owe me. They never did pay me for any of that training. I got paid, I think, for one training session, and I went to probably 5 other trainings after that, and they owe me about $600 right now. So I'm still trying to figure out how to go about doing that, which is what I'm working on right now. The nice thing about Maryland is, if they try to tell me no, Maryland state law is, if I'm denied, they have to pay me 3 times what they owe me. So that would be nice if they did say no. But, you know, I liked who I worked with, every one of those guys. I mean, there was some problems, but, you know, they were all great people I worked with outside of work. You know, and that's excluding the manager. I mean, he was, to put this nicely, he was just an idiot asshole, pretty much. I mean, a couple examples of that being my engine blew up in my car probably 2 months after work there, and I asked if I could get off an hour early so I could make it down, borrow a car off a family member, and be able to get to and from work. And he told me that I couldn't get off an hour early, and if I needed to get to work, hire a taxi or call a taxi. Which, to give you some input on that, I was making $300 a month then, so, and I had to somehow scrounge up with enough to put a down payment down on a car. So that was great. I think, oh, that's besides the point. And then his engine blew up about a month later. He got a week and a half off work to get a new car. So that was one of his wonderful things. The other, I had a close family member pass, and really close to me. It was a sudden tragic kind of thing. And I took 1 day off. I was off. I think it happened on a Wednesday. I took the Thursday off. I was off that Friday, so it ended up being 2 days, and I came back to work that Saturday because I was dedicated to the job. You know what I mean? I was gung-ho. I wanted to make a good impression. I wanted to do hard work. Well, that day I got back, I had a couple tickets on hanging. One of them was getting an eval, so I got a phone call. It was a family member. They had some more bad news about all the stuff that went down, and I had to get home on time, so I left work at the exact time I was scheduled off. And I come back that Monday, and the manager then proceeds to go off on me because I left work on time and told me I didn't care about the customer. And he did this to another coworker. His wife, she passed out while she was driving, went off the road. She was rushed to the emergency room. He got a call, ran into his office, told him, hey, I got to go, my wife's in the hospital. You know, she passed out, I got to go to the hospital. Well, the manager told him that he needed a note from the doctor proving he actually went to the hospital and didn't just go home early. Needless to say, a couple of us wanted to slug the guy after all that. You know, and it didn't stop there. The upper management was crazy too. I mean, I got written up for, we'd have phone shops, basically people who were hired by the company to call in and say, hey, and pretend they were buying something, and if we got anything wrong, we got to talk, we'd have to be reprimanded. And they were hammering on batteries that month. So I forgot, we were swamped, I was on the phone, I had people in line, and this is when we were really understaffed too. I didn't say we're home of this certain brand of battery. So I got written up by the DM, district manager, for that. And it was just, I mean, it was, all I could do was laugh about it, because I was like, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, because with this company, if you got written up 3 times, you were gone. So, I mean, it was honestly ridiculous. But, you know, and before you think, oh, you know, you're anti-company, anti-big corporation, that's not exactly it. I mean, I use corporations for everything. I'm not against corporations in any way, shape, or form. But and the way this company works is you were commission-based. The guys on the sales floor, I was a salesman, so I was commission-based, of course. So it based off of the what you sold. Certain things paid more than other things. And the guys in the shop were commissioned too. And, you know, that really, in my opinion, that caused a lot of problems, especially in the shop, because, you know, you've had these guys who've been there, given 30 years to the company, and they got, I think the one guy got a fishing pole, and you had these young guys right out of college that were making the same amount or more than these guys have been there for 30 years. I mean, that's not how you treat somebody who's given that much to the company, you know what I mean? My opinion, I wouldn't treat my employees like that. And then the other on the sales floor, I mean, it was horrible too, because you had these people. Well, for one, our prices were outrageous. I mean, it was horrible. We charged people, when I left, it was $20 to install a battery. I mean, it's ridiculous. And tires and balancing, oh, it was ridiculous. But, you know, and I think that right there caused, and I know some cases where coworkers had, you know, sold things people didn't really need. And it was just, you know, I was always honest with the customer. If the customer came and said, you know, I've got this much, I need 2 tires and the back ones are shot, you know, I'd tell them, hey, you really need these, you should get them when you can. But I wouldn't sit there and keep telling these people, oh, you need you need to spend $1,000 on tires versus $400 on tires. So, you know, I mean, I really think that caused a lot of problems with it too. And there were so many crazy things. And of course was the company and credit card. You know, they were pissed at us because we didn't give out. People didn't sign up for them. And I mean, the main thing was, every time you ask somebody, you know, it was, I don't want another credit card. The interest on these credit cards are 25%. So I mean, it was it was ridiculous in the first place. I personally would never have one of those credit cards. I never will. I'm never going back to that chain again after all this. But, you know, and then one time I was accused of stealing $300 from a guy. I wrote 2 written statements, all this stuff. You know, the guy said he came in and paid me with cash to pay off his credit card, and which he didn't do. I'm not going to go into what actually happened, but basically he came in and paid with his credit card for something, but he didn't come back in to pay with cash, and he told everybody he did. We were connected to the main store of this company, and so I had their manager who was friends with him coming over probably once a week asking me. And then another time I remember one of the doors didn't get locked in the shop. I was off that day, but because I was low man on the totem pole every evening. Now there was one good manager on the main side, and he was really cool. He messed with me about it and stuff like that, but the other ones would sit there, and every 5 minutes they'd come around and ask if all the doors were locked, and I triple checked. I've never left a door unlocked. In fact, one time I actually left the doors locked. I I took the keys home with me. They had cut all the locks, which was my mistake, and I paid out of my pocket. They didn't ask me to, but I paid out of my pocket and replaced all the locks in there because it was my own mistake. All the ones they cut, they had spare keys to, I think, 2 of them, but I paid for 2 of them. But, you know, it was just, I mean, it was ridiculous. And then you had the guys out there, the younger guys who were wanting to make money. They would tell people they needed things they didn't do. And, you know, I mean, like I said, they were all great guys outside of work, but some, with that commission stuff, you had people that were so hell-bent on making so much money out there that they would do that. And, I mean, that was the problem with commission, especially in the shop. I mean, not so much on the sales floor, that's kind of expected, but in the shop, I just think they should have gotten paid hourly and by year. You know, the older guys made more money. I mean, it just makes sense to me. You know, and one of the reasons I quit was the commission basis. You know, I'm too nice to people. I can't lie to somebody and tell them they need something. I mean, by the end there, I was working, oh, Jesus, probably between 44 and 52 hours a week, and I was pulling in every 2 weeks $400 paychecks. I mean, I was making quota on some things, but like breaks and stuff like that. But the other things, you know, it was just I wasn't I wasn't making quota on some of the things they said people needed done, and I have a hard time selling a product that I didn't personally believe in. So, you know, that was a big thing. But I mean, the main reason I quit the place is I told them when I in the fall before I was full time, because I was full time for about 3-4 months. Told them I was going back to college and I needed to be part time. I only could work about probably 20-30 hours a week because I was going to have full days. And they assured me that'd be fine and all that. And then when the time came around, that was a big problem. They were upset. They were telling me, no, that couldn't work. That wouldn't work. You know, they were going to work me 52 hours a week while going to college for 16 credits, so 16 hours a week. You know, and it was just ridiculous. You know, I'd worked there for a year, and they wouldn't work with me at all my college, and I didn't show up for work the next day. Called in, walked up, brought all my stuff up to him, and said I told him I was done. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, that place. I know a lot of people don't like them in general because of their high prices and stuff like that, but I tell you, that was the only place where, I mean, I've never seen any more ridiculous management than that. I had to go on a conference call. Actually, had to go on a conference call for that battery thing too, and I had to sit there for an hour when I could have been on the floor making money helping customers. No, I had to sit on this phone for an hour and get talking to, along with people from other stores in the district, about how we messed up on a phone shop, and I can go on for even more. And then with those phone shops too, you got in trouble if you didn't answer. And by the time that I had left, we had 3 people in the shop on the sales floor, so we had to it was pretty much you worked by yourself 9-10 hours, 11 hours a day, pretty much. That's how it was, because when I was there, the other guy had to be manager, so basically I was by myself the whole time. And so I'd have a line a mile long, and I had to go out, check in cars, answer the phone, all this stuff. I mean, it was ridiculous, and they wouldn't hire anybody. We had a couple people apply, but they were females, and there was, I mean, I can't say this for sure, but there was talk that there was rumors going around that HR was turning them away because they were females. So if you're any of those females, you should be giving a lawyer a good talking to and seeing what you can do about that. But you know, it was just ridiculous. And then we would get calls from the district manager for not answering the phone, and then we got a machine where there was a quick alignment check kind of thing. We had to roll every car, so I mean, we had to do like 6-7 things. It probably took you 10 minutes per customer. So if you were 6th person in line, it could take us like a half hour, 45 minutes, depending on what it was, to get to you. So that made a lot of people upset, and I was always getting I got yelled at more times than I can remember by people about our service, which I agreed with them. I actually, near the end, was trying to get people. I set up my own little scheduling system there, where if we were backed up a certain amount, because I mean, we got backed up easy. We only had 4 lifts really. We had 5 lifts. So, and we only had, hell, we had usually between 2 and 4 techs on duty. So basically, if it was morning, 2 cars in the shop, you were backed up hour and a half, depending on what they were doing, and that turned a lot of people away. So I tried to do my own little scheduling thing, which worked, but then the college thing happened, so I didn't. But you know, this is, like I said, this is a more of a rambling about my experience there. I definitely won't ever, they probably won't have me back, but I definitely won't work for them again. But I mean, it just amazes me. And like I said, the guys I worked with there, excluding the manager, I mean, they were great guys. There was 2 veterans I know for sure that worked there, and they were both solid guys. They did their job. The one guy, he was a Navy vet. He served on the John F. Kennedy, and he flew RA-3s, or didn't fly them, he flew in them. He was a crew chief or something like that, but he was he's a really solid guy. I used to sit and bullshit with him and smoke with him, and he'd tell me Navy stories every break. And remember, we used to sit in the break room and watch Bonanza while he'd tell me Navy stories, so that was a good experience. And hell, I see him all the time, and always end up bullshitting with him for a while. But you know, it just, like I said, again, I'm not anti-corporation or anything like that, but geez, sometimes this place was, I mean, it was just nuts. And I mean, I can definitely see why a bunch of their stores are closing down, because you know, it's just their management is ran crazy. I mean, they don't care about the customers. Pretty much what I'm getting around to this at. They care more about you getting them to buy maintenance packages, things like that they don't exactly need. You know what I mean? They don't really feel for the customer who comes into the place with, when they're broken, they just need a tire slapped on. They don't agree with that. Or they don't support them. They want them to go ahead and buy 4 sets, or a set of 4 tires of like them. I still remember Michelin. You know, the Michelin. Now I don't remember, Hydro Edges, or Michelin Latitudes, or Michelin LTX MS2s, and they wanted them to spend like $600 to $1,200 on these tires. You know, and I sympathize with them, because hell, I'm broke all the time. I was broke the whole time I worked there. If I blew a tire, I would have gone to Walmart. And you know what? I've had better experiences at Walmart. You know, and I mean, that's sad to say. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Walmart, but you know, their customer service, they're not pressuring you into buying things you don't exactly need or don't need at all. They're paid hourly, and you don't see the problems there that you saw the company I worked for. So, like I said, I didn't mean to ramble on so long. I don't quite exactly know how long I rambled on for, but yeah, that's just my experiences with this certain company, and I'd like to tell you the name, but I don't want litigation on it, or being sued or anything by that for slander or whatever they do. So I'm going to keep it under wraps, but avoid the big tire chains. You know, go to local places. They can do you such a better deal. They don't lie to you. So that's just one of my personal experiences with a corporation.